It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? It's a neighborly day.
Yo, what's good, neighbors? It's your boy Trizzy the God.
What's going on? It's your guy Chiz, and you are now tuned in to episode 35 of Neighborhood Talk. And we got Graslo in the building. Let's make some noise. Now hold on, let me say it one more time. We got Graslo in the building. Let's make some more noise. Let's get some horns for him. We filling in tonight for JD Jones, Mocca on the block, who are now currently investigating derailments of railroads across the country.
Across the globe.
Uh, Hopefully they'll come back with some evidence and some information regarding these situations for us soon. But we're filling in for them until they get back, which will be next week. Yo, Trizzy, how you feeling, family?
I'm good, man. It's the neighborhood, man. We in here. You already know.
Okay. So tonight, as you know, this is not just our space to display our project, Neighborhood Tales. Liberty Isle District 1 being built in Unreal Engine 5 right now, beta testing coming soon. But we also share our space with the best guests in Web3 that got some of the dopest games that are building some of the dopest things
Yes,
for this space. And
sir.
tonight is no different. Graslo, please tell everybody where you from.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for having me. I got to tune in to the space last week, and it was great. I don't know how you had all these amazing people in one space. So, yeah, I am the founder and CEO of Oldor, and we actually released our first playable mode a couple of weeks ago, and it's just been amazing getting the reaction from everybody. So, yeah, glad to be here.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you a question, brother. So how did you even get into the Web3 space?
So I actually have been in crypto for years, and so like in my professional life, I was a consultant, ran my own company, but on the side, I've always been into like Bitcoin, Ethereum. A friend of mine got into NFTs and founded a company called Z Blocks. They did generative art, and so he kind of pulled me over, asked me to be his marketing director. I helped Mike Levy and him. They co-founded a company where they were doing lending on the Flow network. So they built a platform for like lending NFTs and got involved in that. Like I did development, I did marketing, but then it really like I fell into it. I started minting PFPs. I got Dead Fellas and a bunch of other projects that rugged and so like I was in all the communities. If you go look at my OpenSea, you'll see all the stuff I degened in. But yeah, got big into NFTs.
That's dope.
Definitely.
That's dope, man. So, Graslo, I got a question for you too, man. I was wondering, like, when did you begin your journey to become a gamer? Like, when did you fall in love with that aspect of everything?
I have been in gaming for since I was a small kid, like really young, and I'm older than probably most of you guys. I'm 39, so like I was playing Atari. It goes way back.
Hey, that's classic, man. That's classic.
But yeah, I actually worked on a text-based MMORPG, or back then we called them MUDs, multi-user dungeons. That was way back when the internet worked off of modems, and if you had a younger sister like I did, you had a terrible time because every time she got a call or picked up the phone, it would knock you off the internet. So you're gaming with your friends,
Dial
yeah, dial up, terrible.
You've got mail.
up. AOL.
Okay. So that's real dope. So let me ask you a question. did Atari is Atari the system that made you fall in love with gaming, or was it something that came later? Like, what made you fall in love with gaming?
Yeah, I think what really made me fall in love with it was those text based MUDs, the multi user dungeons, because that was really like the first MMO. It was where people really role played as a character, but it wasn't just like a single player game. It was multiplayer. You started to meet people. I made friends, and what was great about those particular games, you didn't hear people, so you didn't know if you're talking to a male or female. You didn't know if they were black or white. You didn't know
Right,
where
right.
they were in the world, what their religion was. And so you got to know people based on playing a game, and it really was, it was removing a lot of borders, and it was just a really good experience. I think it opens people up in a different way, and that's one thing I really love about gaming and game communities.
Fire, fire. So with the older, what inspired that? What made you create that one?
So Oldor goes back to when I started playing MMOs. Like, I got hooked on. The game I worked on, the text based game, got bought by EA, and they turned it into Dark Age of Camelot, which was one of the early MMOs. It wasn't like before RuneScape or anything, but it was early. But then World of Warcraft came out and just smoked it. Like, it was just incredible. And so I played World of Warcraft for years, and it really had an impact on how I thought about gaming, how I thought about just like how to build communities. It was such a good game, especially at the time. And years later, like I had this dream for an amazing MMO, and I think that the genre kind of went a different direction than I thought it should have. Gaming has changed a lot over the years. Obviously, we've had casual games, and so many gamers. We have jobs and lives, and we don't have the time to sit there and play a game for hours and hours every day. So we love these casual games, and I think MMOs kind of failed to bring those gamers in and to keep those gamers' attention. And so it kind of ruins the experience of the MMO when they try to do both. They're trying to reward users, players who can spend all day in a game, but they're also trying to reward users who come in for like an hour at a time. And you really can't do both the way that they're trying to do it. And so that really was part of the reason why I wanted to do it better. And yeah, I registered Oldor.com back in 2011. So it's been a concept that I've been working on for quite a while.
That's
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 dope.
that's yeah, that's dope. Let me ask, did you by any chance did
Hold
you
on,
watch?
Chiz. I want to ask him about the systems. I want to know, like, did you have a favorite system?
You talking about like consoles?
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, I have played I've played most consoles. I've always been a PC gamer, but like I've going back to like the PlayStation 2. Like I think about so many PS2 games that I played, like Twisted Metal 2, Driver, so many amazing games. That was like I love PlayStation, but yeah, I've
Right.
been all the consoles really. Like I'm just a gamer. I love games.
I love that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Twisted Metal because I was literally telling my children that that was one of my favorite games about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Yo, y'all have no idea how many hours we spent on Twisted Metal." And I was like, I actually gave one of them the task to go find it for me, so we could actually go back and get that game a run. So yeah, I just thought it was funny that you brought that up. But I got another question for you. By any chance, did you get a chance to watch High Score on Netflix?
No, I haven't watched it.
Okay, well when you get a chance, watch that. It's I'm in the same generation as you, and it's a real nostalgic show. It gives all the history from Atari and all the way up to where we're at with gaming today. So definitely give that a watch. But okay, my next question for you is this: what made you choose Unreal Engine for your development?
Yeah, and that is a great question. So when we started this project, we spent a few months kind of researching engines and really like putting the whole plan together. And like I said, this goes back a while for me. So I've been wanting to build this game for a while. And one of the reasons why I didn't build this back in 2011 is because MMOs are hard. They're expensive, they're time consuming, and you need a really good team to pull it off. But a lot has changed since 2011. And one of those changes was the amazing advancements of engines. And Unreal has really done a great job. So, like Unreal Engine 5, they added several open world features. They expanded the size of open world games, like without all the hacks that developers usually have to do to make a big open world game. This is built in the engine now. And also, I could talk about these for hours, but I'll just mention like Lumen, their new lighting system, dynamic lighting, and Nanite, the way it groups textures together in kind of clusters, it like automatically changes the level of detail. So it really makes building a large scale open world with a lot of textures, a lot of different assets. It makes it possible in a way that years ago you would need a really large team to pull it off and a lot of expense. Whereas today that barrier has been lowered a good bit, and so smaller teams are able to pull off a really good quality game at a price and quality that wasn't possible before. So yeah, and I love Unity. I think Unity is a great engine for a lot of things, but I think Unreal kind of jumped ahead with UE5 when it comes to like open world games.
Definitely gotta agree with you. We when we first started building and developing Liberty Isle, we actually started in Unity. Uh and then once Unreal Engine 5 dropped, we basically took everything over there. And one of the things that got me the most as far as like features and integrations is like I really fell in love with Chaos. The way they break down the geometry and allow us to, create these destructive environments that, like you said earlier, would take a team of people writing lines and lines with C plus plus. I mean, which that's still needed, but it takes so much more of the workload off with Unreal Engine 5, and I think that they allow indie developers. They gave us a platform to produce these AAA style games with minimal teams, just like you said. So yeah, big up the let's make some noise for Unreal Engine 5.
Yes. Unreal Engine 5 doing this thing. So going on, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I was wondering like what made you want to design an MMO RPG kind of game?
So this is really like a great question. I think MMOs, when you think about the word metaverse, which is like such a overused term, I really think MMOs were like the first metaverse because it allows gamers to kind of play how they want. It allows you to come in and you want to play the role of a character. You could maybe you want a PvP and you go fight other players, and that's your style. You're like a FPS guy. You play shooters, so you like to PvP other players. So MMOs have that, but maybe you just want to go on these epic quests and fight big monsters. Well, MMOs have that. Maybe you want to learn the lore and just focus on a story. MMOs have that, or maybe you're just into the economy and you like trading and crafting and trying to figure out like what the value of something is. And you could, look and check the market and see that something's undervalued. You pick it up and you sell it the next day for a profit. MMOs really allow so many different play styles. And if you're a gamer like me who maybe doesn't fit in a specific category, you're not playing the same game every day, then you can kind of pick and choose how you want to play it based on your mood at the time. You could go in at PvP one day and then the next day you could go do a bunch of dungeon raids, or if you don't have a lot of time and you just want to kind of like sit and hang in a city or a town and just like watch the market, then you can do that too, and crafting and all the rest. So there's just so many ways to play the game. And that makes it a really fun genre to me because it has all of your same friends. The friends you play with in dungeons and PvP are the same friends you're talking to while you're checking out the auction house.
Definitely 100% agree with you, brother. So as far as like the development side, what do you prefer to like create your assets and characters? Like what 3D modeling software is your go to for creations and rigging and things of that nature to import them in the Unreal Engine? You better talk about it.
So I think most of our team uses Blender for pretty much
Make some noise for
everything.
Blender.
Yeah. But yeah, we've used Marvelous Designer for like clothing. We use a lot of different tools. And one thing I really like is like the Epic Games, the creators of Unreal Engine, they are making so many amazing tools. But one of them is metahumans. And metahumans are these hyper realistic characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're free to use. You can use them in Unreal projects. And so, like our Dread King, if you go to our website or if you've seen the Dread Arena anywhere, the Dread King is a metahuman character, and they come like pre-rigged, ready to use in the game. It's not just like a cinematic that you can only use for like a trailer. It's something that actually can be a boss in the game. So that's a really cool tool as well.
That's
Definitely.
can we get some of his stuff up on the jumbotron so everybody can see the beautiful game that he's building out here?
I got you. Give me 1 second. Hold up. You
Okay,
can
so
go on with yeah.
yeah,
You
you
go on with the
good?
next question.
Okay. So you've been building this, you said, since 2011, right? That's when you first came up with the idea. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's when I came up with the idea. Started working on lore and game mechanics, but we started development in Unreal Engine back in 2021. We got early access to Unreal Engine then.
Okay. So let me ask you this question: what made you want to build a blockchain-based game instead of just a traditional Web 2 game? Like, what made you say, you know what, I got this great idea. Instead of just releasing it the traditional way, we're gonna go Web 3 with it.
Yeah, and this is another reason why we pulled the trigger on Oldor when we did, because not only are the engines making it easier to build, but we think this is a unique time to release new IP in the space. We live in this age where the big publishers have they've got their IP out there and they keep reusing those same characters and stories to release new games, but we're basically stuck with the IP that they have created 20 30 years ago. But Web3 is, in my opinion, going to be a disruptive force for gaming. We're going to see it's going to be the biggest thing since free to play, where you're going to see a new model. And where I got this idea was when I first got into NFTs. I told you guys, I was minting PFPs. I got Deadfellows and a bunch of other projects. A lot of them, didn't go anywhere. But I got into those communities and started to see how communities form around NFTs, how you can go on the blockchain and see how many people own these NFTs, what they're selling for, what the history is. I can go see that a particular influencer owned the NFT that I bought, and I started to realize that while this is totally new, NFTs we were assigning value to art, which digital art didn't have value before, and we were assigning value to PFPs, and those didn't have value before. But game assets have always had value. We buy game assets all the time. It's just we don't own those assets. We can't do anything with them outside of what the game allows us to do. We can't go and sell them to other players. We can't use them in other ways, other than what they've defined. So gaming needed this. It needed NFT technology, and it hit me like a light bulb. That this is going to sweep over gaming. It's going to change everything, and so that's why I immediately started building and put together a great team to go forward with it.
I love that, man. That's incredible, man. What I wanted to know was what blockchains gave you the most interest, before and during your development process?
And that's a great question. I've tried to pay attention to a lot of chains. I'll say that the space is so interesting, and there's so many, amazing things going on. I don't know enough about, Solana and Wax and some of these other chains, but I really like Ethereum. I like what Polygon does. I like, their business development. They are hustling. They are getting, huge companies to onboard, and Polygon sees themselves as a layer two of Ethereum. So I really like that. I was a Bitcoin maxi early on, but I've kind of come away from that. I probably am much more favorable to Ethereum than anything else today. Just me, but I'm bullish on blockchain. Like I think that the transparency, the provable scarcity, I think that's what's going to win. I don't know that I'm necessarily picking a chain. We decided to go with Immutable because Immutable has a lot of great benefits, but they have free NFT minting. They have free NFT transfers, so it's useful for an MMO where you're having to spin up a lot of NFTs and transfer them, and you need a predictable cost or zero cost. So that was really appealing to us. But definitely, I like what Polygon and a lot of other chains are doing it, and Ethereum too. Once Ethereum, if they have their own like zk rollup solution, it's going to be interesting. So I'm bullish on blockchain. I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite though.
Definitely. Okay. So let me there's a question I like to ask people. If you were explaining the advantages of Web3 gaming to someone who doesn't understand this space at all, how would you explain it to them? Give us a rundown how you would explain the advantages of Web3 gaming.
Yeah. So to me, Web3 gaming, the difference, and one thing we have to look at is like today, if you're trying to bring people over to Web3 gaming, you're probably trying to bring them over to play inferior games. We have a game that's like Call of Duty, but it's not as good. We have a game that's like Grand Theft Auto, but it's not as good. And so that's part of the problem. We're early adopters. I think if anyone is in this space today, they're an early adopter. And part of that is seeing the potential of things.
Right.
Most people are going to come when the games are built and they're out. They're not alphas or betas. It's actually a onboarding game. Like it's ready to play. But yeah, when I'm explaining Web3 gaming, I'm telling gamers that you have enhanced ownership, meaning if you want to trade your asset on a marketplace, if you want to trade it one-on-one with another person, you could trade it. No one can stop you. No one is going to tell you that, oh, you can't trade this asset today, or that we no longer allow this asset to be traded. Another thing is the transparency. You can see, like instead of a game just telling you that an item is scarce or that it's rare, you can go see that on chain. You can see exactly how many exist. You can see how many owners it has. So
Right.
that's really valuable. But yeah, I think that really that transparency, it gives you provable scarcity. It gives you that enhanced ownership. And I was just thinking of one other thing, but my mind went blank. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really, if you compare two comparable games, like two really fun games, and one of them has a closed marketplace that's very limited, and you can't actually trade for real value, but then the other one, you can trade with your friends. You can sell items if you want to. The value that you put into the game, you can take back out. I think that it's a no brainer which one you're going to choose.
100%. 100%.
I love that. So I got one more question before we move on to the next portion. I wanted to know what's the best story game you ever played?
Oh, that's a great question. The best story game. I loved the World of Warcraft lore. Like, they published all of the lore, and I went and read like everything. I mean, it was a ton. So I really got into that, and I'll tell you, I spent years of my life in World of Warcraft. I really enjoyed Elden Ring, and of course, they had George R. R. Martin helping with the story there. That was a great one. But yeah, I'd probably go with Warcraft, and because I played Warcraft 2, which was a whole different game, and saw that evolve into Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft, and it was great, like participating in that genre while that story kind of unfolded.
Copy
Love it.
that.
I love it. So we about to move on to our next segment called Cap Effect. You know what Cap Effect is. Before we move on, does anybody have any questions for Graslow today? Anybody show of hands? Anybody going once? Anybody going twice? Okay. We're gonna move forward with Cap Effect. And Cap Effect is the segment where we ask you a series of questions and you answer cap or fact. Cap meaning that's a lie, you disagree. Fact meaning it's the truth, you agree, and you tell us why. All right. So you ready, Graslow?
Let's do it.
All right. Cap or fact question number one. Indie gaming studios have more opportunities in the Web3 space than big major publishers. Cap or fact.
That's a fact.
And why?
Because big studios have a lot more to lose. They are going to be very protective of the money that they've made, their revenue stream. And I'll say this was the other thing I was going to mention earlier as to explaining blockchain gaming. So if a game is if their revenue is coming from like trading, like marketplace fees and royalties, their incentive is for you to have value, for you to for people to want to buy your assets. But if you go back to like the free to play model, the biggest problem with it is if the studio is making money by selling you microtransactions, selling you items, then even though it's a free game, they're now having to come up with reasons for you to buy things. And if you
Hold
buy,
on, Grass.
yeah,
Hey, Grass. We need you to repeat that. You just broke up a little bit.
yeah. So when like looking at free to play, with free to play games, the way the studios make money is they sell you items, and they can't just sell you one item. They have to get you to buy more and more items. So it becomes like a subscription where they are devaluing the items that you already bought so that you'll buy the next one. But with blockchain gaming, the incentive is for the studio, for the game company, the developers, to add value to the items that you already have, because then they go up in value. When someone buys them from you, they make a higher royalty, they make a higher marketplace fee. So the incentives are aligned with you. The gamers and the studios want the value of items to go up and want other gamers to want those items. So that if you call it utility, if you call it, value, whatever you want to call it, but the incentives are aligned there. Whereas with free to play and other, the old models, they're working against you. They're trying to get more money out of you instead of the other way around.
And I
Dope.
gotta agree with you 100%. Indie developers, they definitely have more opportunities within the space for the exact reasons that you said. Like we're the ones that could take the chances, and we're the ones that can innovate. Uh, while these major publishers, they have their blueprint, and this is the sales goals, and whatever happens, that's just what happens. But they're not trying. Unless somebody else try it. If it works, then we'll follow the trend. But yeah,
Exactly.
we definitely have the opportunity here. But yeah, Trizzy, let me get that back to you off the backboard.
Off the backboard for the dunk. Hey, Graslow, can you hear me?
I got you.
All right. So the next cap of fact, the NFT space has a bad reputation. Cap of fact.
That's probably a fact.
Why you think that?
I think I think for a number of reasons. One is I think we're early. Like I said earlier, I think the games today are probably worse. Not to diss on any games, but like I think we don't have a lot of like AAA games in Web3 today. We have a lot being built, and we have a lot of great indie projects being built. But I don't think there's a lot of games out today that are ready to compete with the Web2 games. So when we do pull a gamer over, we tell them all this cool stuff about Web3 and blockchain, they try the game out and they just don't like it. They're not having a good time,
Mm,
and I think that's probably one big reason why we have a bad rep.
Definitely. So it seems like to me that I say this all the time. Most projects, they took advantage of the euphoric time that we had in the market where people
right.
were just buying anything. And I think that a lot of developers, especially, well, mainly Web3 game developers, their motto seems to be let's make the best Web3 game when they need to make the best game,
Period.
period, because you can't make a game that's not as good as a traditional game and then expect real gamers to come and spend their time, money, uh, to play some bullshit at the end of the day. So shout out to all the indie devs that are taking the time to just build something great in general, not just for Web3. It's important. That's the only way to survive. Trizzy, is it on me? Is it on you?
Hold on, let me do the behind the back magic pass. Go ahead.
Okay, got that. Okay, for three, Euro step. Three, step back. All types of wildness. Number three is going to be, will all games in the future be on a blockchain? Cap or fact?
I gotta say fact.
Woo! Let's make some noise for that. Let's make some noise for that.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us why. Tell us why. Why would all games gravitate to be on the blockchain?
Yeah, I think Web3 is just a better model. I think it gives the incentives I talked about earlier, where the studio, the publisher now are incentivized to add value. I think that's just going to win. I think people talk about, well, it wouldn't come to like single player games and or different genres. I don't know. I think it's going to affect every genre. I do think that traditional games will always exist, but I think we're going to see that be the minority. That Web3 is going to overtake Web2 gaming.
And I have to
Beautiful.
agree with you. I gotta agree
Beautiful.
with you. But Graslo, man, we appreciate you for taking the time out to come and talk
Definitely.
with us. Like I told you the other day,
You
man,
better
we
talk
love
about it.
what you're doing, man. We love what you're building. We support it. We support you. We support this community. But any last words from you? You can take the stage, say what you gotta say. You can shill as much as you gotta shill, because let everybody know it's real.
It's
That's the
real.
deal. But we're
It's
gonna
in the
give
neighborhood.
Graslo the mic and the stage just to say his any final words that he might have. Contacts you, play the game, whatever you gotta say to the people, brother. The stage is yours.
If anybody got any questions when he finished, just you put your hand up while he's talking. We'll get to you when he finished.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I appreciate you guys. I am glad that I have been exposed to your project. I can't wait to like do a deep dive and learn more about it. So glad that my man Shamgar invited me last week to the space. So love that. But yeah, I anybody that's here that's seen the Dread Arena that wants to try it out, we are in a closed alpha, but we are sending out alpha codes probably tomorrow. So if you go to oldwar.com and you put in your email, we're going to be sending out codes probably tomorrow. So that's going to be the next batch, and we won't. It's free. You don't have to own anything. You don't have to buy any NFTs. Don't have to pay anything. So yeah, just give it a try. Let us know your feedback. We've been blown away by the reactions so far. I know Shamgar's played it, so I would love to have him say what he thinks.
I'm not gonna lie, it's actually a really good game, especially from a Web3 perspective, because I really think you all are genuinely just right behind like Earth from
You
Another
better
Sun
talk about
or like
it.
Superior. But I've been playing your game for hours, and I don't even like MMO type games. Like you all actually got me interested in this type of game. Like I'm looking forward to being able to compete against the different factions and actually have like world battles against other people. Like it just reminds me of Neighborhood Tales in a sense, but like with Vikings. So for me, the game concepts like executed really well. You're a really cool guy, and the fact that you actually reach out to other content creators to not only promote our stream, but like to just get our general feedback from the game and the bugs, is like really big, because most Web3 games can't even do it. It's like they're literally just shilling shit coins and trying to scam people. So I love to see the progress you're making.
Word. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Cheers. Cheers. We back at it.
Back at it again next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know who we got coming up yet. I don't have the notes in front of me, but we got somebody good coming up.
Somebody's coming to the
Somebody's
neighborhood.
coming. Big shout out again, and big thank you and appreciation to Graslo for coming out and rocking with us. Y'all make
Definitely.
sure y'all follow him. Make sure y'all follow Odor. Make sure you try the game out. Uh, and tell them Neighborhood Tales sent you because we support the project. But
Facts.
make sure you follow us. We got some big news coming soon. Some major announcements. We finally found a blockchain to partner with for Liberty Owl District 1. We're very excited to let you guys know about it. We're working with them, getting some marketing things done behind the scenes, but it's a done deal, and we're very excited and can't wait to share that information with you. Make sure you follow Neighborhood Tales.
Yes,
Check out the
sir.
official website. Phase 2 out now of the
2.0.
website. White paper version 2 out
Let's
right
go.
now. Join the
Let's
official
go.
Discord. We giving away over 100,000 in cash and prizes.
Yes,
And
sir.
Fizzy, if I cut you off, I'm sorry. The mic is yours again.
No, just go. I just love the neighborhood, man. That's it. I get
Okay, I
excited,
want to
man.
make sure I wasn't cutting you off because you know when I get going, sometimes I just get going and don't stop.
It's the neighborhood.
Woo! But yeah,
Hey,
big
hey,
shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. We appreciate all of y'all. If you jump in the Discord right now, take a screenshot of this. We will get you an airdrop. Maybe we'll do a mystery box. A mystery box that contain a weapon, a vehicle, real estate keys, maybe some apparel. We don't know, but it'll be something real dope that you can utilize within Liberty Owl District 1. Big shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Mocca on the block, JD Jones. They'll be back next week.
yes, sir.
And yeah, big shout out to Graslo again, man. And Shamgar, we're gonna have to get you back up here for part 2 just to do a deeper dive into this Web3 situation. We gotta do a part 2 with Shamgar because
Gonna be the Oasis Spaces.
yeah, we might have to do the Oasis spaces with Shamgar, man, because yeah, you're making a lot of moves with this gaming situation, and we see you, but yeah, once again, thank you to everyone. And we will see y'all on Tuesday. And make sure y'all follow, because if you don't follow, I will take it personal.
Personal.
I'm just playing.
It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. Would you be